a screen. Her smile, it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene. In the morning or the night, recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's almost time to celebrate family, really, because the holiday itself is questionable. Anyways, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I hope everyone's doing good today. That's not supposed to be on the screen yet. Sorry, guys, for that. But I wanted to start off the lunchtime on Sunday with the show because I've been kind of under the weather the last couple of days, maybe two days, I would say. I've been under the weather. I haven't been feeling well, so I did a night show a couple days ago. I just have been stuffy and things like that. So, also, happy holidays. Your tree just reminded me, for those who celebrate alternative holidays during this season, hopefully you guys are getting ready. I'm not ready, but hopefully you guys are getting ready and excited to spend time with family. But I decided to do this topic today because, something that as fun and amazing as the holidays are, there is also a dark cloud that lingers over this time that we're supposed to spend with our family members, just genuinely loving and caring for each other. This time is usually supposed to be spent appreciating each other, your family, things like that. But the holidays are actually a very difficult time for certain people, right? Certain people who are living in certain circumstances, whether that be family or a partner. the holidays can become a very contentious time. And so, in honor of all the people who have suffered from domestic violence and things like that, I decided to basically put together a show of body cam footage, but also of data and things about why people stay in abusive relationships. So it's going to be half, well, let's say 50% video, 75% videos, and then 25% will be me also having gathered some information for you guys and going, kind of working through it together. And when I say working through it, it's more so that we can come to a shared understanding. Because as much as we see this type of footage on body cam, as much as we hear about it, we see it in our actual lives, right? People don't seem to understand how complex of an issue it is to be in an interpersonal, in a relationship with interpersonal violence. So, that being said, I'm going to start off with body cam footage because I want us to just sort of get an idea of what these calls typically go like. Okay, and that's just really for us to just run it through and understand what it looks like to the police when these type of situations are reported, are received by 911 dispatchers and things like that, and then we'll sort of jump into the discussion. All right, so I'm going to start. What is going on, AKMRWT? I don't know what the initials stand for, but hello, good evening, or good afternoon. Happy Sunday. So I'm going to start off with some footage of just a general dispute, okay? Now, this one, so this dispute is actually a sort of like a complex one. I am bricked up. I don't know what that means, but hello, happy Sunday. Hopefully you're having a good day. So now the first one I'm going to show is, I'm only going to show partial of this video because it's a very long video. It's about 55 minutes long. It's from Georgia Police Activity, the YouTube channel. They have about close to 50,000 subscribers. So if you guys wanted to check them out, I'm going to drop the link for their channel right now because, if I'm going to be reviewing their body camera footage and the things that they spent a long time requesting, I might as well share their channel. So that's the channel in the chat. If you guys can't click the link, let me know and I'll put it in the description later. But Georgia Police Activity recorded this interaction. And I actually wanted to talk about this one sooner, but I got distracted. So it's about 55 minutes. This is a case where a man was living with his ex-girlfriend and bringing another woman to the home, and some issues happened, and he decided to hit her. Okay, so we're just going to look at the dynamics of this situation because, again, I want to sort of set the tone for the discussion we're going to have today. So this is a domestic dispute, and also, I might try to skip through some parts because for some reason Georgia Police Activity did not mute out some of her private information. Which honestly, I think it's just laziness at this point because they probably could have gone back and edited it, but I'm sure it's just laziness. So you'll see me skip for that. Now let's get into it. And hello to everybody. Hello, Miss Empress Kia. We have some new folks, obviously. Anonymous Moose. We have Gary Graves is on some BS nice and early. Suvam. We have Miss Jalen and Victorious One. Thank you guys for being here. I'm trying to just hop into the subject so we don't spend too much time just chatting. So let us get started. All right. So this is the video in question. And if you guys are having trouble seeing or hearing, just let me know.
Before I talk to them? Okay. Do you need amulets or anything?
Let's go ahead and Jason.
Okay. Will you open that door for me? Yeah, please. All right. Good. That one should be open, and we'll go to the left. We can go in. Is anybody in there? All right, yeah, we can step in here. Get out of the rain. All righty. Have a seat. So, what is going on tonight?
It started yesterday. He put his hands on me yesterday because I came downstairs when he had company and I embarrassed him. And so I went upstairs.
Sorry, guys. I don't want to show too much because I get in trouble from YouTube when I show the same violence that they have in these videos. So I'm not going to go too close back to the frame, but you guys can pretty much tell, like, at that point, she has a very bruised, swollen eye. There's like a, like the color of the veins and everything is showing in her face. She's, that's a pretty brutal injury that she has. So let's continue.
And he followed me upstairs and I turned around and I was like, what are you going to do? Hit me? And he grabbed me by the throat. He didn't like choke me, just grabbed me by the throat and then pushed me into my roommate's door who's with me. Her name's Shanti. And then I opened the door and I don't remember exactly what happened after that. It all happened really freaking fast. I just remember being shoved into the wall and he just starts yelling at me.
About what?
I don't remember.
Just yelling. Okay.
I was so freaking scared.
Yeah.
I didn't catch anything.
So what happened tonight as well? So let's start from there. That's probably a little bit fresher on your memory.
Yeah.
So take me from beginning tonight. Like what?
So he was not supposed to come back to the house.
Okay. So what time did he show back up today?
He was there when I got off of work. And
About what time?
About 4:30 is when I was
This
there.
afternoon?
Yes. We locked the doors on him. We locked the windows to make sure he couldn't come in. My roommate accidentally let him in because she thought it was me. And she felt awkward, so she was like, oh, okay, come inside. I came home. I called my roommate who's on the lease. He told me to take the key out of the living room, put it in his room, try and keep him lock the door. I came downstairs and he had destroyed my property, destroyed my stuff. And I was like, wow, you did that? And he was like, yeah. And so we got to arguing because I kind of told his dad about something that he did. He got mad that I told his dad about what he did. So he was like, did you really? I ran outside. He was like, did you really do that? And he was like, yeah. So I walked back to the car and I got in the car with my roommate who was there. And he starts yelling at me and I'm trying to close the door and he will not let me close the door. And so it's like, I'm not going to lie, I punched him in the nuts because he wouldn't let me close the door.
And this is in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried punching him in the nuts. I missed, obviously.
So you didn't actually make contact?
Yes. No,
Okay.
I didn't make contact. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't make contact. He backed up. And then he started yelling at me. He was like, you're so fucking evil. And then
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely tell that's nervous laughter because she's describing it. And you'll see like throughout, just pay attention to her body language and how she describes it and everything. And just what she says about the prior times that this has happened. Now, No Chaser says, did she get medical attention? You're going to see her essentially refuse medical attention. So regardless of how bad her face looks at that moment, she's going to refuse to go to the hospital. They're just going to look at it, sort of tell her, oh, it's not that bad, and then she's going to refuse treatment. So I just want to let you know about that part nice and early. Now, Stardust, I don't speak whatever language this is. I don't want to be racist. So if you can translate to English, then I can definitely respond to whatever it is that you have a question mark for. So anyways, you can pretty much tell that she's like describing this in a not casual, but I would say like she's not sounding super, super distraught. She's sort of just like trying to get the details out about what happened.
And then just starts punching. I was like, I don't care. And then he just started punching me. And then my roommate backed up and she just like put it in reverse. She got scared. She didn't know what to do. She put it in reverse, backed up. He fell under the car. We didn't run him over, but he just like fell from the door being open. And then we're like, we're going to go to the police station. Like, you're going to jail. And yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and establish a few kind of incident things.
Really
No, it's a lot. So I will tell you, we already have him. He's in the back parking lot.
Yeah, I know. I saw him come up here after we were waiting for the cops.
Yeah. So you actually came up here right at shift change. So I just came in. I've been out there waiting for you since. Gotten kind of a statement from him. So let me get some, because I'm going to be the reporting officer essentially. Let me get some basic information. So where did this occur? So we're on. So forgive me, I don't work near that precinct. Is that in Clark County or is that in? Okay. 500 Catswood Drive. Do you have an over there?
It's not our apartment, it's our friends, but he lets us live there.
But so did this incident occur in the parking lot then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All of the physical part today was in the parking lot.
Yes.
Okay. You are the.
Hey, Terrence, and they're blocking things out for her privacy. Men always go for women's face and
I know, everyone says that.
And I believe Victoria's one of that's because they want her to. All right, Chuck, you're getting out of here now. I believe that's because they want to be able to affect not only like if they hit them in the head, something very bad could happen, like they could lose consciousness or something like that. And the face, it affects their appearance, right? So if they think that the woman is beautiful, they might want to injure her face and things like that. TWI says, good afternoon. What's going on, Terrence? Good afternoon. All right, so she's going to keep describing the situation, and I'm just going to speed it up a little bit because I want to get to like her interaction back and forth with the police officers, describing her story and what they're asking her. So I don't know why I just went to subtitles, but I'll speed up just a little bit. Like I said, it's 55 minutes, so they're not like in a rush to get every piece of detail about this to us because it's 55 minutes. So let me play it a little sped up. Victoria's one says valid points. Yeah, because you know a lot of times I saw a movie yesterday on Netflix where the husband that she married very quickly to, like without really spending a lot of time with him, with her family, despite like red flag situations that she purposely like in her mind overlooked and remembered incorrectly. He bit her and it left a bite mark, and he bit her specifically because that location was a location of a tattoo to a man that she used to be attached to. Like it was a very deep personal. It wasn't like a name, but there was meaning that was related to that partner. So I don't know if you guys seen it. It's on Netflix. Blake Lively's in it, but he bit specifically around that. So I believe that was it was meant to sort of like make her remember him when she thought about that relationship that she got tattooed years ago when she was in high school. So anyways, let's continue.
My last name's Greengrass.
It's pretty. Your parents knew what they're doing.
And I was premature too, so like,
That's meant to be. What's your phone number?
706-410-7224.
All right. So just because you were going about a mile a minute, what I want you to do is I want you to slow down and take me through. No, trust me. I can see you're panicked. Are you sure you don't want ambulance? That's pretty deep.
Yeah, I don't know.
You ain't got to go with them. They can just.
Yeah, I don't want to go with them because we have somewhere we have to go after this.
I mean, while we're sitting here talking, the ambulance bay is just down the street. They could roll up here and just maybe clean it up. Would that work? Okay. My radio is also busted, so forgive me. I'm using this old fashioned.
I'm sorry I kept you waiting.
You're fine. I'd rather be here than downtown. 359 Central.
359.
We roll EMS, non-emergency.
Sorry, 10 on.
We roll EMS, non-emergency, reference to a face injury.
10-4.
Alrighty. So I'll come here, and you ain't got to go with them. They can at least get you cleaned up, okay? So just take me from kind of the beginning of the physical parts tonight. Like, what was the initial argument about?
He brought a girl over.
Okay.
And I was jealous.
Who is he to you?
He's gonna tell you nothing.
Okay.
But he's a little liar and a manipulator. He's my best friend, ex-best friend, and we made it complicated by incorporating sex.
Here's the interesting part about that, right? Like, especially these type of abusive ones that love the drama. Because my guess is going to be that he's a narc, right? Him having a new girl and trying to bring her into a house where he lives with the past girl, it's a way of provoking her. That's my opinion. So I think he's a narc. But what they'll do is they'll do things like this. Like, first of all, they will not want to define the relationship. So that way, if they do leave you or cheat on you or harm you, whatever, in like an emotional context, then they can just say, well, it was never really a relationship. You were just a hoe. You were just another woman. Like, you didn't mean nothing. This is what those type of people will do. I'll say that. So it's definitely a triangulation tactic. You're on point for attention, but also to re-engage her. Because now if he had another girl outside of the house, what would it matter? Like, she's not going to interact with him. They obviously aren't together anymore, but they are sharing an apartment. But if he brings the woman to the house, now it is a direct triangulation. It's her, him, and the new woman. And a lot of times the new woman has all, like, if she's not aware, I'll say, I won't call her not bright, but if she's not aware, then she will come into it believing all the negative things that the past partner tells her. But it's just a way to, like, for them to, you know what I'm saying? For them to be pit against each other. It's a triangulation tactic. Now, ABC XYZ, you made a great point, right? As soon as a man raises his hand on a woman, his manhood is gone. And it's specifically because of the damage that can be done when a man does something like this. Now, I'm not excusing women hitting men, but I'm saying, like, I think there's a loss of manhood because they should understand that there's a huge, huge difference in physical strength. And so if you use that, even if there's, like, quote unquote legitimate reasons, which a lot of times there isn't, they'll say a woman hit them first and really she was shoving them to get away from her. There's really no reason to use the same force. The circumstance is if a woman raises her hand to a man, it's a lack of respect, but the man's supposed to respect her enough to not hit back. It's not just about respect. You know, I think it's also about damage. And a lot of the times when you do hear, like, of a woman being the first one to hit, there's already a toxic back and forth. So it's so, like, there's kind of more nuance because they're both engaging in physical violence, and it could be like one of them was initially the victim, though. You know what I mean? So I think it gets kind of tricky, and it's best not to apply that when we're talking about general violence in relationships. So it's all about, well, I don't know, because that's really not what happened in this case. So I can see why you would say that. You know, men tend to jump to those type of conclusions. Yeah, reactive abuse. Absolutely. That's exactly what it's called. Also, men have more power, and that power comes with the responsibility. Absolutely. That's why if a woman shoves a man, he can't punch her 5 times in the head. Like, that's just not, you're going above and beyond what you should be doing. You know what I mean? I definitely agree. I don't think women should hit men. But I will say, like, a lot of times when we hear of, oh, she hit me first, it's really like a reaction to their abuse for the most part. But let's get back into it.
Okay.
It makes things messy.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we also were both sleeping in the living room together, and he had this girl in the living room, and the original argument was because I came down there and was like, hey, when are you going to take her home? I said in front of her, like, I'm not going to lie, that was rude, but I don't care. I was like, when are you going to take her home? Because I've been at work all day, and I want to relax, and I work in the morning, and I want to relax.
Mm-hmm.
And he took that as me being, like, an instigator, I guess,
Okay.
and started yelling at me.
So do y'all live at this Catholic address?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have y'all live there together?
Mm-hmm.
How long?
He's been there since January. I've been there.
And I'm not playing dumb Broadway, right? But I'm saying a lot of times when people will say, oh, she hit me first, when you hear that in these type of interactions, that's usually what the issue is, right? It's not that somebody was actually hit. It's like, oh, she pushed me, and so now I'm going to punch her 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't balance itself out. It's not an equal reaction. And you're right, Victorious One. The aggressors are usually men. I do want to make partial disclaimers because sometimes, the aggressor is a woman, but globally, women are the main victims of intimate partner violence. So don't make the man mad that, oh wow, that's crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete you. If you do not want to get touched, do not touch other people. I agree with that. I think if you don't want to get touched, don't put your hands on anybody. But this is the tough part though, Smoke. Sometimes the person will be approaching them, getting in their face, yelling, spitting. That person doesn't have to accept you in their bubble. So, I mean, sometimes people will act like, oh, the woman should have just ignored if he was in her face, spitting, yelling, acting. I've dealt with that. I've dealt with a partner who will say, I didn't touch you, but they'll be in your face, yelling, screaming, spitting, using brash language, being incredibly offensive and disrespectful. And there'll be an audience sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that dynamic plays into it too. Like, you can't get into somebody's physical bubble and then expect them not to react. And so a lot of times that's when you'll see like the shoving because like you're in my face. Um, Women think they can get with it. Yeah, I don't think women can get away with it at all. I'm just saying, like, I definitely think that men should think about the fact that they have more physical strength than women, especially when they're responding to, like, a shove or something. Like, if she's shoving you out of her face because you're spitting at in her face while you're yelling and acting crazy, then I don't think you can try to portray that as her physically abusing you. But that's a lot of times what these manipulative abusers will do. So, anyways, let's continue.
Since February,
Okay, so
like a month difference.
yeah. Okay. So together, probably about what, 3 or 4 months?
Yeah. But we've been living together for about a year, moving basically.
Oh, okay, about a year total at other addresses.
Sorry, I
So,
should've
no, you're fine. You're fine. That doesn't really change anything except for the charging on our side. So essentially, y'all were in the living room area. Forgive my kind of terminology. Y'all were a friends with benefits type situation.
Yeah, essentially.
But he brought over another girl. You were just asking, hey, when's she gonna leave because you're tired from work?
Yes.
And he took that as you instigating argument.
And I did I didn't get this wasn't my promise. I would never do that.
Mhm.
But I did get aggressive in my mouth, and I did say some mean things.
So y'all were arguing.
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess he was just mad that I was arguing with him in front of her.
Okay. What happened then?
What do you
After that, how get us from that point to outside?
I was upstairs. We were about to leave to come here to press charges from yesterday, from what he did yesterday. And yeah, so we were in the living room. We went downstairs. He was there. Went to the car. Was like, oh, I forgot something. Let me go inside. Grab it real quick. When I went inside, he had stepped over it and ruined it.
Called over what?
It's illegal.
Just one little blunt.
It's illegal.
Don't worry, I don't care.
So, again, I believe this bandit was provoking her, first of all, by bringing the woman to the house, but also damaging her property. Obviously, it's just a blunt. No one's going to think that that's a big reason to be mad at your partner. But let's say she's a person who smokes for anxiety relief and things like that. Then there is sort of more going on there, and he knows what he's doing. So she's talking about him essentially provoking her. Hey, Robin. Comparing children and adults is absurd. Well, that's not necessarily absurd because we're talking about the differences in physical strength. And the differences between men and women, there is a huge difference. Now, I'm not going to excuse that as a reason for women to put their hands, but I think, like I said, a lot of times men will say, oh, well, she's getting into it with me too. And really what's going on is the woman is being provoked into reactive abuse. So, because we know from the numbers that women are primarily the victims of physical abuse. Now, men are also victims of physical abuse, but I think the fact that they don't report as much as well is why we see a large skew in the numbers as well. Yeah, the size and differences is comparable. She tries to get, yeah, but I'm not talking about that instance. Like, you keep trying to make it fit whatever your narrative is. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, you have a right to defend yourself, Carolyn G. Defend yourself. But like I said, these partners, they will go from being physically abusive and then they'll switch into verbal because they think verbal is not abuse, right? I'm not touching you. So they think they're not abusing the person. And what they'll do is they'll ramp up. Oh, thank you so much, Beth. Thank you. What they'll do is they'll ramp up the verbal abuse and like the shaming and the mental tactics that they use against their victims. They'll ramp that up. They'll even do have provocatory language. And then if the person reacts, for example, by shoving or something like that, they'll be like, oh, well, she hit me too. And so that's how women and other victims get caught in these traps of reactive violence, arrests and things like that. They'll be too long in these abusive relationships, and so they'll start to pick up the habit of reacting violently, shoving, whatever. But you're right. It's not right. Then it's not right. I'm not saying it's right at all. I'm just telling you that there is a difference. No one said she. I said, yeah. Hey, talking to Kim folk. What's going on, boo? Hi. I like your picture. Your little what is it? Avatar. Are you kidding me? They react to talk and it's okay. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. You guys just seem triggered at this point. We're going to keep getting into the video.
Expect it with your birthday.
Thank you. Oh, but he destroyed my blunt. And I was like, wow, really? Just to be petty and instigate that he stepped over my blunt. And he was like, well, you locked the doors on me last night, so I couldn't get in. And I was like, yeah, because Jesse told us not to. Jesse told us that he's kicking you out, not let you back inside the house. And so I was like, by the way, I told your dad that you fucked his wife. Yes.
Like his real mom or stepmom?
Stepmom.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was like, did you really do that? And I was like, yes, I really did that. And I went back out to the car because he has been with him for a year. I can tell when he's about to, because it's not the first time he's hit me.
Thank you, Dad. Thank
But
you.
I can tell when he's like getting mad and about to like flip the gun. So I was like running to the car. I ran to the car to go back to Shanti.
Is that who's out there?
The other witness. And he followed me. I was like, nah, bro, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And I tried to close the door, and he kept trying to open the door, and we're like fighting over it. And that's when I tried to like.
You tried to punch him and didn't make contact. And then what?
And then he was like, "Did you really do that? Did you really do that? You just fucked up my family." And I just kept saying, "I don't care, I don't care." And I guess me saying, "I don't care," pissed him off because next thing I know, I was getting punched in the face, and he kept beating on me. And so that's when
And here's what I'll say too, right? Her getting involved in his personal drama and, you know, telling the dad what he did with the stepmom. I do think that when you're in these toxic situations for too long, you start to feel like you want to vindicate, like you start feeling as a victim, especially being hit and things like that. There becomes this like, damn, like this person did all this to me and I meant nothing. Now they're just gonna go get another person. And there is that resentment, that deep resentment that builds in these relationships, specifically because they're like, damn, I sat here, I dealt with you abusing me, and you're gone. You just went and got another woman. There's an attachment there. There's a trauma bond sometimes. So it gets very tricky. So she obviously went and told his father something that happened in his family that you know would embarrass him or whatever. And I just believe this is part of his way of keeping her wrapped into his family trauma. He probably told her knowing that she would eventually tell somebody. You know, I'm not going to blame him for her divulging that, but a lot of the problem with these abusers is there's a lot of drama, theatrics, and all types of crap going on in the background. They keep you wrapped into it because there's so much going on. You know, the relationship becomes almost like a movie or a show. Like there's always some mess. There's always something that you're getting entangled in as the partner. And so that's their way of keeping you wrapped into the relationship, keeping you invested, keeping you involved in their drama. So let's continue.
my friend reversed the car and tried to get him off of me.
All right. And then y'all successfully left?
Yep.
All right. Just 1 second. While we're waiting for that ambulance, I am going to call my partner who's out with him.
Am I going to go to jail? Because I don't know either person.
He's saying the exact same thing you're saying, pretty much.
Okay.
Makes him, he, you know, of course, try to make him look a little better with it, but essentially the same thing.
I thought he was going to try and report like her running.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, so I'm out with the victim. She's essentially saying the same exact thing about the argument escalating into him standing in the doorway. She tried to punch him in the nuts, but unsuccessful on her end.
And you'll see, like, we're going to look at him, how he starts to describe it. And when you hear him, you're legitimately going to think, like, oh, you know, this was just a mutual kerfuffle between man and woman. And she admits to punching him in the balls because he wouldn't let her out of the house. He was blocking her way. But this is a lot of times how these relationships go. Like, he has a whole new woman, but he wants her to be stuck with him, involved in the drama. Oh yeah, Davey. There's a bunch of people in that dusty sector copying right now. But hey, let them do what they want to do. If they can get views and attention and growth on their channels, go ahead. But yes, absolutely, there's a bunch of them doing it. Yeah, they antagonize women, and I'm just gonna say this, Robin, right? Like, my relationship was very public. You guys saw things publicly, and what is it that you guys saw? You guys didn't see anything that was going on in the relationship when I was dealing with the abuse quietly. As soon as I publicized it, I publicized it, but it came out because somebody found the records. Now I'm being recorded. Now our altercations or our situations with each other are happening live now, right? That should tell you something. It's a pattern of how these people behave. They antagonize and they create scenarios that are going to make drama, that are going to make people get people riled up. And specifically, narcissistic people will create scenarios. They will create drama that will keep you locked in with them because you will start to react aggressively as well. So if you guys don't know, amazing. If you do know, obviously this is a very public sector issue. But, it's just another example, and it happened live. This is what a lot of these people will do, is they will antagonize you into a reaction, but they won't show what it is that they're doing day in and day out to create a sensitive environment for their partner. So you can tell by Brian, you guys are just in here. Some of y'all are triggered. Married at First Sight. I see. No, I'm not going to do any of those shows. But Married at First Sight also has a whole element to it that's different. Like, there's certain relationships on there where there's a borderline, abusive situations going on too. One of them being emotional abuse. So definitely, I've seen a few people doing it since you started doing it. I'm happy you're setting a trend and growing behind you. Well, thank you so much, Kim Book. I appreciate that. At the end of the day, I'm only focused on growth. I don't care who does it, where. Obviously, if they want to do all that content over there, then go ahead. But I'm just here to talk about an issue that hasn't just affected me, but it's affected millions of women globally. And this time of year, where we're celebrating happiness and family and being surrounded by love and growth and things like that, right? There are a huge group of women who are actually in their most tumultuous times. This can be the most dangerous time of year for victims of intimate partner violence. So let's continue. Thank you, Victorious One. Yeah, I hope to just inform. For every action, there's a reaction. Men know this. Women don't just get irate for no reason. Right, and I'm definitely not going to make it specifically just women, but I'm saying in general, right? It'd probably be so funny. I'm going to say in general that I think in these intimate partner relationships, that's what's going on. It's about inciting a reaction. So let's continue with the video.
And the argument continued with him punching her in the face, and she is definitely been punched in the face. She's breathing pretty heavily from under her eye. So is he still there? Go ahead and take him into custody for battery family violence. I have a witness out here to talk to, so I'll just get with you to get his full statement later, okay? All right, you got any questions? She's in the call. She's a Kylie subject. I am doing the interview up in this front room to get out of the rain, so I'm not in my car. It's just battery family violence, so. All right, call me if you need anything. Do it under 240. 0505 240. I don't know if they reopened it or not, but that's what it's going to be wrote up under. All right. Did he decline EMS for anything he was complaining about? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Well, you of course heard that he's going to jail.
He wanted EMS?
No, he didn't.
Oh,
but there was blood on his hand, which I now see is probably from you. I only briefly saw him as I was coming over here, so I didn't know if he was trying to say it was any physical injuries or anything like that. Just want to check, make sure I need to send anyone back there when they get here. Anything else you want to tell me about the incident? Anything at all? So you said you have a history of domestic violence?
Yeah, he's put his hands before, but never this bad. But it just like.
But you've never reported it or anything?
Ooh, sorry, guys, I was muted. Now I want to know, what is her definition of this bad? Because how is the bottom line her, like, how is the worst of she's ever dealt with in this relationship him pretty much like splitting her eye? Like, you can pretty much see there that, not only is there bruising, but it looks like when the skin has been ruptured and it hasn't had time to like the blood release or anything, or if there's like bruising is pretty much when the blood stays locked in like a patch behind the skin. But sometimes it's just like a line, or you'll just see like a patch of skin that looks like veiny, right? Like, how is this her marker for like, it's never been this bad? What happened prior, right? What did she think wasn't so bad? And, the sad part is she mentions that this was the first time she's ever called the police, right? And so I'm just wondering, how much did she deal with physically before she called the police? And that's why I said, you're going to hear her sound like she has some resentment, because she just said, well, he called EMS, and she's wondering like, damn, he's going to sit here and beat me to a pulp, and then he's going to call the police, he's going to call he's going to tell them to get an ambulance because I punched him in the nuts, Like, it's sort of, it's resentment. She's probably been in this violent relationship for too long, and she's probably like, oh my God, like at this point, tired of being a victim. That happens to a lot of victims. That's why you will see cases where both of the people will get arrested, right? Because there's a reactive abuse that happens. Something triggers a physical response in response to violence. So it gets very, very tricky, unfortunately. When I see women report like that, I feel so bad because what do you mean not this bad? Exactly. Like, what is your marker for not this bad is like screaming in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she probably got numb to it because it was going on for so long. Yeah. And when she describes like her relationship with this man, right, she's going to describe it very casually. And that's what some of these abusers will do is they will get in a relationship where they become super controlling and crazy and whatever, but they won't define it. They'll try to make it seem like it's a casual situation. Meanwhile, they're holding you to like a relationship standard. So let's hear a little bit more from him.
He's pretty violent.
If I might ask, why haven't you reported it before?
I don't want to fuck with his life.
You can't look at this. You ain't doing it. He's doing it, and you're responding to it.
The only real thing that pushed me to even press charges before he punched me in the face about the other stuff was because all of my coworkers were like, if you don't do it, you're just going to keep going to the next girl.
And so with those allegations for yesterday, they are going to be included in this report. However, I don't have enough charging with that right now. However, what he's getting charged with is, do you know what battery is?
Yeah, it's like, no.
Okay, so battery is, say you like slap somebody, but it doesn't leave an injury. That's simple battery. But if you hit somebody and it actually leaves something I can physically see, like with your eye, that makes it battery. And family violence is.
So yeah, that's how they break it down in terms of sentencing. You know, a lot of times men, that's why men will go, or abusers, I should say, that's why they will go for less places that you can see it less. Because if they hit you somewhere that you can't see it, they can actually end up with lesser sentencing, which is unfortunate, you know, for victims, because now they have to deal with not only a predator who's super abusive, but one who knows how to work his way around consequences, you know. So, or well, I don't know what you're talking about, Renaya. Let's continue.
Upcharge that you got since y'all lived together, which means he ain't getting out of jail tonight. He has to see a judge before his release. That may be in the morning, that may be the next morning. I don't know how the jail over there is going to do it, but you don't have to worry about him showing back up there tonight. Are you going back to that 400 Catholic address tonight?
500.
500, yeah, 500.
Yes, my roommate.
Okay, I do need to understand when he gets out, there's probably going to be conditions, and you should either a judge or a deputy or somebody wants to contact you, because more than likely the conditions are going to be something like stay away from your apartment or something like that. Just wait. If you get around 706 when we're calling you, please answer it, because it'll be the judge trying to tell you, hey, these are parameters that we're setting for him. Okay. Do you have any initial questions right now?
Actually, you kind of sparked one. How do I get a PTO instead?
A TPO? Yeah. So there's three types, two really matter for the situation. One is called a condition.
And that's smart. You know, she obviously can tell that the police officer is trying to inform her and help her understand how to work around the situation. And she asked how to get a temporary protection order.
A bond, which is probably what he's going to get anyway from the judge, who says stay away from me, but that's only pending the case being open. For a more permanent one, I'm going to give you a piece of paper when we get in my car that has all the phone numbers on it. Pretty much go to magistrate court, say, hey, I was victim of this, to give you a TPO. Talk to a judge. The judge will sit down like we're doing right now. They'll go through everything, and they'll either grant it or refuse it. And Athens are pretty good about granting them, though. And we'll just go from there. And the TPO is a little bit more permanent solution, but even they expire. So that's something that if you want to keep forever, you're about to keep redoing. Because I don't know. I'm not going to try and guess what the time frame is off my head, but that is something I'm going to give you here in a second, the information on. Anything else? All right. I'm going to go out there and talk to your witness. Hopefully it's not raining, so we can talk out there. Talk about the echo in here. And maybe that ambulance will be sitting here too. Of course. Howdy, you been waiting long?
No.
Oh, perfect timing. Howdy. If y'all want to talk to her, I'm going to talk to my witness, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, if you'll ask her to step out, or hey, you can step up here out of the rain if you want. Hey, so I understand. Were you a witness to what happened tonight? Alrighty. Let's try and make this quick so you can be a little more comfortable. So what can you tell me happened tonight?
So we was getting ready.
Now, this wasn't something that I initially paid attention to too much, but I will say a lot of people who watched the video in the comment section were talking about how the officer sort of interviewed these two in a rush. He interviewed the woman in there, then he interviewed her out here, like holding a baby, just made it inconvenient. I'll say this: police officers are coming to scenes of crimes, people where people live and things like that. They're not really in a position to start dictating where and how they're going to organize interviews. Their job is to sort of just approach the situation, get as many witness statements and things as they can, gather as much evidence, and then work from there. So I think, honestly, I think this officer did a really good job of handling this. Not only did he give the victim information, but he seemed fairly unbiased in how he spoke to her about what happened. He was also extremely, like, his demeanor was so down to earth that I think she sort of felt comfortable just talking, like having a conversation with him and just sort of telling him what happened. So even though she did get animated at some points, for her it was like just a conversation was happening. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna sort of try to figure out who's guilty or innocent in this moment from my perspective, which doesn't always happen when the police come to these disputes. Sometimes they come and they're trying to read the situation and be investigators and sort of just instead of sort of just collecting information. So let's continue.
From where?
From the house, from home.
What is that? Is that the 500 Cathwood address? Okay.
He was about to leave that address and take him. I was dropping him off to his daddy's people, and she had to go back in the house and get something. And I stayed in the car with him. And when she came back out, he followed her to the car. And as he was trying to close the door, he opened the door and started yelling at her.
Okay.
Started cussing her out, saying words. And next thing you know, it happened so fast. He had just hit her. In a blink of an eye, he just swung and punched her in her face, and I told her move. I was like, "Is your legs good? Is you okay?" Like, cause he tried to slam the door on her leg.
Did you see anything physical from her aspect?
No.
Do you have your?
Trying to block him from hitting her in her face.
Okay. After he hit her, what happened? Or does that when you?
She
So this is where I started to realize that the man involved in this situation is a ghetto hot mess, right? Because at first I was like, he brought the new girl to the apartment where he lives at with the old girl, right? And there's a roommate. So the roommate knows, I don't know if she knows both of them, but I mean, they're like, why are you bringing a girl to this house in the first place? I don't know how many bedrooms there were. But I'm assuming the reason why this woman is getting upset is because she's having to just share close quarters, not only with a man who's physically abusive and in a long-term situation with her, whatever he wants to call it, but he's bringing a woman into this apartment where, you know, they had a roommate. They had a prior situation. You know, at that point, that's not a place for you to bring a new relationship. Get a hotel room, right? You're such a big player. Why do you need to introduce another person into an environment that you created with somebody else? You know, it just seems weird. Seems weird that there's a roommate in this apartment with them. And that also indicates, like, this woman too, like, why would she even come to that place? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's also crazy too. You don't know what's gonna happen. I would never show up to an apartment where my ex used to live at with a girl and their roommate. Like, you just never know. You could walk into an extremely dangerous situation. You know, you can walk into an ambush. You can have people there who are like, who the hell do you think they are? They'll beat you up. Like, I just don't understand this narrative. And I've seen so many videos of this type of scenario. But trust me, the man is the one orchestrating all the drama in between this. So let's continue.
She put the car in park and drove off on him. Yeah, he drove off me, and we didn't go back to the house.
Okay. So let me kind of make sure. I'm gonna retell this, make sure. Tell me if I'm saying anything wrong. Mm-hmm. So essentially, you were there to pick her up to leave from this 500 Cathwood address. She comes outside, and she comes outside. He follows her arguing. Mm-hmm. She gets in the car. He opens the door. That same argument continues. You don't see her do anything physical, but you see him punch her in the eye. And then you see what appears to be him trying to close the door on her legs, and that's when y'all just kind of take off. Okay, who are you to her?
We're all roommates.
You're all roommates?
Yes,
okay.
we're all roommates.
Do you have your license on you?
I don't have a license.
You have an ID card on you? All right, yeah, if you'll grab that for me. We can go to your car. Yeah.
I just don't want to leave the keys in the car.
Yep, that'd be pretty bad.
Central to 2232. I finally got Miss Tappan on the line. She said the grandmother, Berlia Wells, is going to be around the cigarette. She would see you just a few minutes.
And is y'all's the guy's name, is he the Quavale subject? Or Quazale, whatever his name is? I saw that for you. Y'all can go ahead and swing back inside if y'all want to, okay?
Your heart rate is perfect. So your blood pressure's a little high. Like you said, it is not unexpected at all. We expect this to happen.
Now, a lot of times in these interactions, your blood pressure is going to be very high, right? That's another factor that people don't consider when they think about domestic disputes, right? People who are involved in these situations, there's heightened emotions, heightened anxiety, and that blood pressure, that's a dangerous, dangerous thing, you know? This isn't the first that I have seen in the last 24 hours. These women are showing their lack of self-respect and esteem. Oh, yeah, it's very stupid to me. Like, I've seen multiple of these body cam videos where another woman will literally just be so comfortable showing up to this house that this man used to live at with another woman. That's crazy. I would never. Like, imagine going there and being ambushed. You just never know what's waiting for you. Especially they had roommates before you even knew the dude. You don't know who those people are, what relationship they have to that man and woman. Like, you wouldn't catch me dead. You wouldn't.
You're definitely gonna have a black eye. Yeah. Like I said, you've got a little bit of at least an abrasion there. It doesn't look like it's anything that's gonna require stitches. Are you wanting to go to the hospital? Okay. Okay. No, that's fine. You're gonna be pain. You're gonna be sore. You can put ice on it. Take ibuprofen, absolutely. Tylenol, whatever you use over the counter for pain, that's going to help. But
now, the only thing I don't like is I don't know if there's a record of you being treated by EMS versus going to the hospital. That's the only thing I'm not sure. And I think for her safety, it's really important to get these records of like, hey, the police came to my house and there was physical evidence of me having been abused by this person. And so I think that's really, really important. Now, I don't know, if you guys know, let me know in the chat if they generally offer like medical notes or anything for people who were treated by EMS for these sort of domestic disputes. Because it's really important to have your little evidence there. You know, the way laws even work can get very tricky, that it's important to have a documentation of what this person has done to you.
It's going to be your friend. 15 to 20 minutes every couple of hours. You cannot really ice it for too long, but generally 15 to 20 minutes is what we'll work with. Right. And the things you want to look for, because you did technically get hit in the head. Yeah. Okay. If you start having a major headache, it's not going away. Nausea, vomiting, or dizziness. Okay. Those are signs of a possible head injury. We're not seeing anything that leads us to believe that right now, but obviously.
Now, she did say, since you technically did, no, she actually did get hit in the head, right? Her eye area is a part of her head. And, you know, I've seen other comments in these videos saying like, oh, EMS are so in a hurry, they don't be wanting to take people to the hospital. Well, unfortunately, they're so overwhelmed by calls just like this that I do think some of them start to get, you know, impatient and will not want people to go all the way to the hospital and have to finish that part up. You know, if there's so many that they're going to have to reach in a certain day. I don't think that's an excuse. I think every time something like this happens, they should go to the hospital just so there's a record of what happened. But it seems like there is some, you know, impatience with EMS not wanting to take these victims because it's just such a common, they'll be in and out of the hospital pretty much all day. You know what I mean? If they took every victim of the physical assault. So let's continue.
Just something to feel better.
But at least they checked her, you know, I'll say that. At least they checked her blood pressure and things like that to make sure immediately she wasn't like in any physical danger. But again, if somebody knows in the chat, let me know. Do they usually share a record? Like, is there some type of physical record of EMS coming to your home or to where you're at and treating you? That's what I'm mainly wanting to know.
I think your biggest issue is just going to be pain, so swelling. Okay? I'm going to get him to unhook you, let this officer start talking to you. We're just going to get a piece of paper signed from you saying you don't want to go to the hospital with us. Does not mean you can't change your mind. It does not mean you cannot go on your own. Okay? I just got to get it out from the front. Okay?
Mind if I use your dry space for a minute?
Absolutely. She looks like she's going to have a black eye.
Gotcha.
No,
You don't see anything immediately broken?
She's definitely got some pain right here when I pressed. We told her it's a possibility, but we can't really tell. You know, she would have to get images done at an urgent care even if she wanted to. The honest truth is, even if you do have something, they're probably not going to do anything for it. But if you wanted to know, you could go to an urgent care. It doesn't even look like there's an actual laceration, more of just like an.
Yes, and hit the like button for me, guys. I saw someone say hit the like button to all the cloud watchers. If you guys can hit the like button, try to get me to 100 likes by the end of this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps for my channel, helps push me into the algorithm a little bit more, and all that. So please. Late night sip says, I'm a 911 dispatcher. Give me an address, a name, or keyboard. I can tell you what happened there. Okay. I wonder though, like for the record of like somebody going to court or trying to get a temporary protection order like she is, will she have a physical record of this interaction with the EMS? Oh, okay. After each call, that makes sense. All right, so that's good. Great to hear that from 911 dispatcher. Thank you so much. Hey, young Riaz. Hey, Jennifer. She says, afternoon, Flora. Hope you have a blessed day. Thank you so much. I hope you do as well. All right, thanks for coming to the stream today. And please hit the like button, all right? Listen to Miss Robin M. Hit the like button. Let's continue.
Gray hair, a skin tear that started bleeding.
You need to get that. Yes, sir. Gotcha.
So nothing. Her vitals are good. Blood pressure's a little high.
Gotcha. Making sure we're not getting one of those spontaneous life-threatening ones.
Nah, I mean, like we said, we told her what to watch out for, but we're not seeing anything obvious right now.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just going to borrow your box for a minute. So I talked to your roommate. She essentially said the same exact thing. So nothing's changing. He's still in jail. He's already there. This is going to be the case number. That's my name at the top. I'm the primary officer for this incident. And this is going to be in here as we're talking about the information for TPO. All the phone numbers are all for that are there. If you get any random 706 number calling you, it'll probably either be somebody from the courthouse, somebody from the sheriff's office, or somebody, a detective. Because while I am a patrol officer and I am arresting him, I'm still a detective. I'm still going to review the case. If you'll flip that over, look, you see the one that says Vine. I think it's towards the bottom. Yeah, the one that says Vine. If you call that number and get it set up, they will call you and notify you when he is released from jail. Something I do recommend doing so you're not blindsided with him for showing up. Definitely figure out, they should have to come give you the paperwork for the conditional bond if they issue it. Get that sorted out so you know what he can and can't do. A lot of times it's no contact at all, but sometimes it's no violent contact. So if they do issue one like that, please don't hesitate to call us if something does pop off. Okay? Do you have any immediate questions on me right now? All right. What I'm about to do is I'm going to let them finish up. I'm going to take some pictures of your eye before you get out of here. And all I want you to do is over the next, honestly, like 2 weeks, every day I want you taking pictures. So that way when
See, this was part of why I said that this police officer is very good at his job, because he literally is giving her advice, like, keep track of what's happening to you. Document what he's doing to you, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your word against his. And we now have record. He's taking picture of her eye to make sure that it's on the record of this abuse. So over the next 28 days, 24 days, whatever, keep track of it. Don't let this just keep going on and not, keep your own personal record of what's going on so that you can defend yourself and get a protection order. So even though people were like upset about how the questioning happened in the comments, I think people in the comments a lot of times just be talking. But I think he did a really good job of not only giving her like life-saving information, but also keeping track of her situation. For lots of reasons. Late night sips, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people will go back to the perpetrator, right? They'll go back into the relationship, and so they will become a poor witness, right? They will stop reporting the violence. They will stop keeping track of the violence. Maybe they'll even return after a significant violent event. Right, they'll start to believe, hey, if I just stay in this situation, they're not going to try and hurt me as much because I'm listening to them and doing what they say. It's just a number of things. Also, the fact that it is your word against theirs. So if it's a partner who knows not to hit you somewhere where the court will be able to see and take pictures like in her face, right? If that's the situation, then you're in an even worse situation because now you can't even prove that this person is physically putting their hands on you, right? Not trying to personalize again, but I will say this: there are times where I was abused and the person specifically chose to do things that they knew wouldn't leave a mark, right? There's times of child abuse where the abuser will specifically choose not to hit a child in a place where it can be seen, right? All of that is part of a umbrella of domestic abuse, but they specifically know how to avoid consequences. And that's what makes it such a tricky thing to deal with, especially in the law. So the fact that the punishments aren't extremely harsh either. So, for example, he said, if we can't even physically see what it is that the person did to you when we come to arrest, or, if you don't have pictures, then it becomes a simple and it's a misdemeanor. Versus if there's pictures, okay, or if there's physical proof that they're seeing, for example, her black eye and the bleeding that's going on underneath her skin, then it becomes elevated. So again, if that perpetrator is somebody who understands not to abuse somebody in a place where it's going to be physically seen as much, then they're in an even better place as a perpetrator where there's no proof of what they've done. Or they'll resort exclusively to verbal and emotional abuse. So it gets very, very tricky. Prove it wasn't consensual. So many homicide defenses. Yeah, it's funny that you say that. A lot of them they will imply that there was a S&M lifestyle. They'll imply that it was a part of their everyday encounter. It gets crazy with the excuses, but the main issue has to do with testimony and physical evidence, and also the reputation or involvement in the system that the person prior had as well. So let us continue.
The court, or they're going to ask you for documentation of injury, so that way you have a progression. He can tell you just like I can. It's going to look a whole lot worse before it looks better. So go ahead and start documenting all that you can, so we have a clear pattern. And if you have any other injuries that arise, document, okay? Because we're not going to see everything right now. So I'll let you finish up with them, and I'll be over by your car, okay?
Because they're pretty much wrapping up their conversation with the woman. They see what happened to her and things like that. And they're going to talk to the gentleman. Now, I just want to get to that part, so I might just fast forward a little bit. She isn't going to go to the hospital. She's going to decline. And they're giving her even more, life-saving information. And now they're talking to the perpetrator in question.
All right. So you come on out. So we talked to the other half. So basically, again, walk me through what happened today. So you're at the house, you're arguing about the family stuff.
Yeah, I'm sitting down on the couch.
What happens as y'all leave?
As she's leaving, she's like, "Oh, y'all also told your dad that you fucked your stepmom." She said, "I'm about to file a police report on you about today, and you're getting kicked out of the house. Jesse kicked you out of the house."
Okay.
And I was just more focused on. I was like, "Did you really tell my fucking dad that shit, bro?" I was like, and like I said, she was on the passenger side. I'm like, "Bro, did you really tell my dad that shit?" I was like, and she's
so
like, "Yeah."
Whose car did she get in?
Jesse's. He's out of town working right now, but he allows them to use the car.
Okay, so who was driving? Shanti was driving. She gets in passenger side?
Shanti's in the driver's side. She's driving. Kylie's in the passenger.
Okay, so you go to the passenger side. You're talking to Kylie.
Yeah, I'm holding the door. I'm like, "Did you really?" And I just keep on asking her, and she's trying to pull the door, and then she's like, "Hey, she hits me in my nuts a few times." To be honest, I didn't feel it because I'm just like,
yeah,
a lot's going on right now. But she does that, and then I'm like, "Bro, did you?" And she's like, "Yeah, I fucking did it." I was like, "Bro, you know that shit could ruin my whole fucking family." And she was like, "I don't give a fuck." And like I said, at that point, I just kind of snapped. And I hit her twice.
Now I'm going to say this, right? He definitely mentions her punching him in the nuts or whatever he calls it, right? But also, what he's not acknowledging of his own behavior is that, like she said, he was blocking her from getting out of the car. He's acting like he was just leaning on the car. He was actively stopping her from getting away, right? So her punch to his junk was her trying to get away from him, away from the vehicle, out of the situation, which he wasn't allowing. And then he's going to say, I just snapped. No, sir. You were in there instigating. You came up to the vehicle. You're engaging in a back and forth conversation. So what? So what? She told your dad that happened. So what? That was not a reason to come and confront her and be stopping her and blocking her from getting in her vehicle and leaving, which could have ended the whole altercation. Right? But notice again, this is how they will preface the situation by saying, oh, she hit me in the nuts multiple times and I didn't know. Well, if you're blocking me from going somewhere, yeah, I am going to start to do things to get you out of my way. And that's what an abuser like this isn't going to mention. Now, you might think, oh, well, if she punched him in the nuts, then he was all in his right to sock her in the face. No, the hell he was not. No, the hell he was not. Because again, if he was blocking her way from getting out of the vehicle, which he admitted to being leaning up against the car, holding the door, then he started the interaction. He made it physical by stopping her from moving away from him, right? And also, her punching him in the junk to get away from her is not an equal reaction to him socking her in the face like that and leaving blood right underneath the surface of her skin that we can see in that red line. All right, and again, he set the stage for all this, bringing a new woman to the house, antagonizing her, not allowing her to disconnect or disengage from the incidents that she's having with him. And now he's going to say, well, I just snapped, as if what he did to her face was a reaction to something he did, to something that she did, versus him just wanting to get aggressive in the first place. Now, baby threat 0. You can go watch this by yourself, right? It says review for a reason. If you'd like to go watch the video, go to Georgia Police Activity and watch the video. All right? So let's continue.
And at that moment, Shanti started backing up. And since I'm on the passenger side, I fell this way.
Okay.
And I got like rolled up underneath.
I got you. Are you needing EMS for any of your injuries?
Just like some sanitizer or something like that, okay, just to make sure I don't get infected.
I got you. All right, man. And I know this isn't what you want to hear, but as of right now, I do have to place you on arrest. Okay. It's going to be for.
Yeah, the secret, the drama is literally just to keep her stuck in the situation, right? It has nothing to do with, oh, it was just going to ruin his family. No, he wanted an excuse to continue to antagonize and interact with her. That's exactly why he got her all wrapped up in this. He's mad at her for spilling a secret or whatever. Like, we're not seeing anything from the dad or his response involved in this interaction. So it wasn't serious enough for him. It wasn't serious at all for him to come to physically confront her. There's no reason for that. It might be a crappy thing to do, but no reason. And look at the mammy. And look at the mammy.
But as of right now, I do have to place you under arrest. Okay.
Sitting here so surprised that he's going to jail after literally punching her in her damn face. Honey, what makes you think that you won't be next in that? This is what I'm saying. The triangulation makes some of these people delusional. They make them delusional. If he would put his hands and punch a woman like that he used to deal with, you think he won't do it to you? Like, it's the delusion. It's the male identifiedness of like, well, you shouldn't have been yelling at him. You shouldn't have told his secret. I bet you that's what she would be saying in her head. You shouldn't have told his secret. You should have punched him in the nuts. All of that. She's ignoring. First of all, she didn't try to diffuse the situation by telling her man, hey, let's leave. Why are you arguing with her? Why are you interacting with her? Move from in front of her car. Instead, she sat there and probably egged him on, and now he's going to jail, and she's acting surprised with a wow face, as if she don't understand why somebody who punches a woman in the face like that would be going to jail.
It's going to be for not false imprisonment. It's going to be for battery. Okay, for the punch.
Look at her, still acting so shocked and surprised. until it's her.
People can say whatever they.
Exactly. People can say whatever they want. And the fact that she's even sitting there like trying to argue with him, it don't matter what she said. It don't matter that she exposed his drama or whatever's going on in his damn family. At the end of the day, that's not like, okay, you're a grown up and you did something immoral. So what? So what? You don't physically confront her because of that. That's not a reason to punch her eye like that. And it's definitely not a reason to start blocking her from getting away from you or cutting the interaction off.
I want to say, you're not allowed to. Yeah, but she's trying to leave.
What do you mean she's trying to leave?
She's in a car trying to shut the door.
What about yesterday?
I got you, and we'll definitely write that up as well. But yesterday, that's a different story.
Dumbass. Like, this girl is like literally making my blood boil because she saw the way that he punched her. She sees the girl's eye. And she's saying, what about yesterday? Who cares about yesterday? Today, your man put his hands on that girl. And you're acting shocked that he's going to jail. Like, stupid. Just really dumb.
Story. But we're talking about, I know, but when it comes to domestic violence, this falls under domestic violence given the fact that they live together. Okay? When it goes to, again, a car that had he not gone to and tried to engage, the car that would have took off and left.
A car that would have took off and left. This officer is seasoned, right? That's what it's giving seasoned. It's giving he knows how to deal with these type of situations because he's explaining it to them very, very simply and easily. All right? If that car is trying to leave, it don't matter what they do to get you out the way. You should have moved. You don't get to impede somebody from it stopping an interaction with you and then be mad at the force that they take for you to get you to not interact with them. It's ridiculous. And she's acting so shocked. No, this girl is a dusty influence. She's probably just as dusty as he is.
Correct. I know it sucks, and I know
she was. I mean, can I just ask as far as like her just attack? I try to stay quiet.
That's one of those. I know. It's one of those things. You would not believe how many times we see this. I get that. I get that. You know, luckily, he has a friend like you that will get him and take him to somewhere else. But the thing is, when it comes physical, given the situation, so in the morning you'll talk to the judge. Okay, and the judge will decide your bond, and then you'll post a bond. So hopefully, only a day. But it is what it is at this time. It falls under domestic violence. Okay? I appreciate you. And like I said, you see it all the time. And unfortunately, when you're goaded into doing things like this, you might be on the wrong end of it, okay? I'm sorry, bud. But because potentially also stopping.
And, I don't wish that on anybody. Late night sips. I don't wish that on anybody. But it's like, what she's doing almost has like a karmic result, right? Like you can't sit there and encourage somebody to abuse a woman that they used to be with and then think that you're going to get with that person, have a healthy relationship. Like it's just not going to happen, right? You're going to, what goes up must come down, right? As above, so below. The same is going to happen to you, honey. Especially if you sit there while he's doing it to the next woman and egg him on or make excuses. It's just bound to. The person is already set in their physically abusive ways. One day they're going to have a reason to do it to you. Now, I don't wish that on her, right? But it's just, that's the cycle of abuse. One partner to the next partner. And he seems narcish too, right? To trying to bring them and interact with each other and force her to interact with him by not letting her leave and all that. That's a narc in him as well. So that makes it even more just like crazy of a situation. But it's like she really thinks that it's healthy to not encourage, but even stand by him while he punches another woman in the face to that degree and thinks that it won't be her one day. That type of perpetrator, that type of person who would do something like that will do it again. I promise you. Because the men who don't do it, there are no reasons to do it. They won't find one themselves. It just is what it is. But if they will, trust me, they'll do it again. They did it once, they'll do it again. That's why you don't stand by somebody who does that.
Someone from leaving, had she been the driver and you tried to stop her from leaving, That would have been false imprisonment. That's felony. So when talking to people, if they don't want to talk, just leave it alone. Any questions, son? I understand. I'll make a note of it. Do you have a separate vehicle?
Yeah.
Oh, that's yours? Okay.
Yeah, but I have his keys.
Do you want someone to come get this vehicle? Like after she leaves, can you get somebody?
I can get it. Okay.
She can drive it?
I just asked, just wondering, like, for her. I mean, I know that I was holding open the door, but did that give her the right to give me my...
And you can see there he has a knee with the injury as well, right? He has a knee with the injury because again she's trying to leave, get in her vehicle and close the door, and he's refusing to move, right? But a certain perpetrator could first get the police involved sooner and try to portray what happened to them as them being the victim and the other person being the perpetrator. So it really is also a game of who calls the police first, right? It's a whole mess. Yeah, I'm hoping for the best. Yeah, as well too. But it's a cycle. And if they do it to the last partner, eventually they're gonna do it to you. It is what it is. It's how it goes.
If someone's in fear and they're trying to leave, they've got a right to get you away from them. As far as she's trying to leave, she's in a car, she's actively trying to pull on the door to shut it. I understand, believe me. But at this point, this is where we're at, okay? Now, what's his last name? Jones, okay. Hey, folks, I'm going 1095 with Jones. All right, well, he's okay with you taking it. Yeah, anywhere you wanted her to take the video to, I'm assuming you don't want it to go back to that apartment. Yeah, okay.
Taking it to my house.
Is that okay?
Nowhere near that. She don't know where I live, right? Okay. If she does, if she comes on my property, I'm just saying.
I got you. Well, if you feel that she's going to come cause an issue, you give us a holler immediately, okay?
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate him being super open with all of them, right? Because it's not his job to judge in this situation and just assume the complete innocence of the victim. Like, I guess not saying that he should be looking for who's the right one, but I'm saying like it's perfectly within the bounds of his job to treat everyone with decency and respect. And I believe that he did that regardless of the distastefulness of the situation. So let's continue.
All right. And just as a precaution before we make it into jail, anything on?
So I'm going to end that one there, okay? And we're going to move on to the next video. But while I get the video, I'm also going to pull up a little bit of my slides because I don't know if you guys can see this that well, but I decided to put together a little bit of a presentation about some of the data of these relationships. Now, I've just realized that for some reason it comes across increasingly small. It looks incredibly small. I mean, not increasingly, incredibly small. So I'm just going to look at my slides while I talk to you guys and sort of show you guys what I found out there in terms of why do they stay? Because you would wonder, why would this woman even be in a relationship with somebody who is putting hands on her, right? Or why she would stay. Now, I'm going to say one of the obvious ones just from what we saw in that video. She's living with him. Financially, it probably isn't feasible for her to just get away, right? If they're sharing resources, there's a level of not interpersonal, interdependence, right? Where she needs him for a place to stay. So she really just doesn't have the opportunity to go somewhere else. Maybe she's afraid to be in a shelter. Maybe she don't know how the system works. And so she just doesn't want to get involved, right? There is a economic reason for it. But one of the other reasons that I found here is that there's a learned helplessness, right? And learned helplessness is a condition in which a person has a sense of powerlessness arising from a traumatic event, the abuse or the abusive relationship, or persistent failure to succeed. It is thought to be one of the underlying causes of depression. So now, if learned helplessness is what is causing somebody to stay in this type of relationship, and that also correlates with depression, right? You can see why somebody in this type of predicament might have a hard time leaving, right? Because not only do they see themselves as powerless, right, but the relationship and their circumstances are causing them to be incredibly depressed, right? The physical doesn't happen right away. They psychologically break you down slowly first. That's correct. That's 100% correct. It doesn't always start physically, especially because they understand that they can't just hit you one day, right? They have to make you believe that there's something that you can do to cause this on your own. It is a very psychological thing. You could cause them to be so mad that they punch you or to push you down or to, accuse you of being a cheater. There are things that you can do. And sometimes they have to make you believe that. Or they have to make you believe that there are things that you can do. There aren't actually things that you can do. All right. The next thing is public perception, right? So now, how do people in your neighborhood, in your family, in your culture, how do they view interpersonal violence, right? What are their beliefs when it comes to just even what causes it, right? What circumstances will lead to it? Is it appropriate in certain cultures, right? Do certain cultures believe that that a particular partner of a particular gender has the right to not just chastise, but will discipline the other partner, right? Is there a religious component, right? So public perceptions play a big part on that, because the public essentially is going to be the ones who are either going to help or hurt you. And they're going to help and hurt you because, right, if you're viewed by your friends and family as instigating this particular type of abuse, then you're not going to have resources to escape. If the police or the social service providers in your area don't take it seriously, or let's say they normalize domestic violence, right, then it might be more difficult for you to acquire services, right? Or they might treat you in a way that encourages you not to seek services, maybe by not respecting you or laughing during the interaction, or or asking you why you haven't reported it before, or why they can't see any marks or bruises on you, that type of thing, right? If the public perception is a negative one in terms of how this is caused, or if they even believe a man or woman or whoever partner abusing the other partner is a bad thing, all of that is going to affect if a person stays, right? If the people that they interact with think that, hey, whatever is going on in your house is between you and your husband, that's another reason for somebody to stay in a relationship, right? Because they believe people will judge them or won't understand their circumstance, right? Or might even tell them, hey, we don't get involved in your home, right? Your business is your business. Hold on, guys. Let me, I'm going to play some quick be right back music. All right. Just give me a quick minute. All right. Give me a quick minute.
If you ain't nasty, don't add me. I've been working all day. So on the streets in the dark out, they come through and way back out. I hope that's okay. Doctor, I got too many hoes.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to answer that real quickly. But yes, so where were we at here? Because I'm looking at my screen from back here. Yes, so public perceptions. Basically, the way your community regards domestic violence will significantly impact if you seek help, services, if you are feeling that you might be supported if you report this. All right. Cliff says, hello. What's going on, Cliff? Be the reason people trust 911 is our EOC's motto. Yeah. And, there's been so many, ever since body cams and all these things became more popular, when 911 calls started being released and stuff, you're starting to understand where the cracks are, right? You might hear a 911 dispatcher who is just so incompetent. It's just really just sort of the worst person to be answering the phone. And then you might also hear what a really good dispatcher sounds like, right? She's able to keep the victim calm, get the services there quickly, give the victim resources that they need. All of that, since we've gotten this technology, it really has improved these situations. But again, it still depends on the community. Does the community help and respect victims, right? Do they offer enough resources to victims of DV? All right. And those are just my citations there. But I also wanted to say numerous studies have shown that having limited resources for economic dependence can delay the separation process, while a situation of economic stability might facilitate it. So if you're in a situation where the person that you're with is taking care of you financially, maybe they even spoil you financially, right? Like you can buy whatever you want. They shower you with gifts after abuse. The bills are always paid. The kids go to the best schools. You live in the best neighborhoods. That will cause a woman to stay, or a person in general. I keep saying woman because they're the main victims, but it will cause a person to stay in a relationship, right? And the lack of resources on the other side, that will also cause someone to stay. They don't have resources. They don't have a way out. Maybe the city that they live in doesn't have great resources for victims. Maybe the city that they live in, all the DV shelters are full of women. There's just not enough resources for all the people who need it, right? So both sides of the coin can cause victims to actually stay more frequently in these terrible relationships and circumstances. All right, so let me see what we got here. Let us move to the next slide. All right, so here are some facts regarding DV, DA, IPV. There's multiple names for it, but they're pretty much all referencing the interpersonal violence that happens in very close relationships, families, in romantic relationships. It pretty much encompasses all of that. So here are some facts, because again, you guys can't read it. The hard truth is just across the globe, men remain the main perpetrators of IPV. All right, the research that I got is from 2021. So you'll know that if it's 6 to 16 years, it is recent enough to apply to the current environment. So this was not that long ago. Men are the main perpetrators of IPV globally, not just in the United States. And that's important because it gives you a picture of the fact that this is something that every woman all over the world, like this is we could all be in a situation like this, right? 1 in 3 women globally are victims of domestic violence. Additionally, it has been estimated that in 2020, a woman is likely deleted by a family member every 11 minutes. Again, this is global statistics. Globally, every 11 minutes, a woman is passing away due to a intimate partner violence or situation. And DV, DA are also used because that can include family members, friends, male acquaintances. All of that can be included in interpersonal or intimate partners. All right. And the other statistic that I have here, the last one of this slide, ethnic minorities are more likely than ethnic majorities to be victims. All right. So even though we like to believe that this happens all at the same rate throughout all the groups, the ethnic minorities significantly suffer more from these high levels of interpersonal violence than ethnic majorities. Now, that might just be because the percentages between the groups are, like, for example, if there's less Black people, but way more of them are being abused in intimate relationships, then comparing that to a larger group where less of them are, then yeah, that's going to be notable, and it's notable throughout statistics. Ethnic minorities go through it significantly more, and a lot of it might have to do with being marginalized as well. Not that that's an excuse, but obviously poverty and things like that can contribute to women staying in these poor quality relationships due to not having the finances or the economic wherewithal to leave the relationship. All right, so I'm gonna play the next video because I want us to, yeah, poor women, absolutely. They have no resources, they have nowhere to go. Their best chance is to be in a state that has enough shelters and resources, and to be a demographic that's sought out to give resources like women with children and things like that. A lot of those shelters, unfortunately, they have to prioritize women with children because there are more victims involved. All right, so I'm gonna play another video. Actually, I'm gonna play the video of Gabby Petito. I know you guys remember her. This was maybe like a year or two now. This woman was eventually she was found deleted by her partner. Okay, her partner eventually took her life, and there was a long search for her body. Okay, but in this particular interaction, they were stopped by the police, and there were scratches on his body. So what I believe was going on here is that this was a case of reactive abuse, right? She had been in this situation with this man, and he has been driving her insane, treating her a certain way. So she reacted physically in the same way that she's been dealing with. All right, so let's watch these couple minutes of this traffic stop, which was one of the last moments of Gabby Petito's life.
It's Gabby Petito in tears on the day she and her fiance got into a nasty argument.
We've been fighting all morning.
The police body cam video is a poignant contrast to the beaming Gabby we've seen in videos shot during her cross-country road trip with Brian Laundrie. The just-released police video was taken August 12th. Cops pulled the couple's van over outside Arches National Park in Utah
So my bad. It was actually 3 years. This video is from 3 years ago. So this is probably right after the panorama, because that is why there was so much time for people to be doing and the panorama also increased the level of intimate partner violence as well, because people were stuck with each other, right? They had nowhere to go. There was no work. There was no school. There was nowhere to go outside of the home. And so there was just way more violence in the home because they were stuck with each other for longer. Hey, Bill Redbone. She says, hey, Flo, in chat. How you doing today, girlie? All right. So, again, this happened. This was one of the last moments of her life that the police have recorded. And I believe that even though she got in trouble in this situation, this was a case of reactive violence in a already violent relationship.
After a witness reported them arguing at a grocery store and called 911.
What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
Gabby, Brian. Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm just crying. We've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
The officer asked Gabby to step out, and she explains what's going on.
I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. Have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website. So I've just been really stressed.
Then Laundrie is questioned.
Tell me what's going on.
Now, I don't know who exactly was going to fund this, right? But it might have even been his idea to do this, right? Because it is better for him to be isolated with her. There's more control. The dynamics are more private. They're on the road, right? She's financially dependent on the situation. The travel blogs was something that she would become financially dependent on. So, I do believe this was an isolation tactic. Hey, Lana Love, what's going on, boo? I do believe this was also a way of him controlling her environment, right? If they're always on the road, there's not going to be a bunch of personal witnesses to what's going on in their relationship.
You see, this gets worked up sometimes.
Gabby told police she has OCD. She said she was afraid Laundrie was going to drive off and leave her stranded at the grocery store. She apparently scratched him during the back and forth scuffle.
You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand. That's why I was pushing her away.
On the day they were pulled over, Gabby and her fiance had been living in their small van for about 4 months, crossing the USA, visiting national parks for her travel blog. Now, they told police they were still in love, but after all that time together, the tension had been building until it erupted in tears and shoving. Gabby, still distraught, says being pulled over by the cops added to the stress.
I just saw the lights come on, and it was...
Let me tell you something. She was definitely not a fear that he was going to leave her at the grocery store because she had OCD. I promise you, he has threatened to leave her. He has threatened to abandon her somewhere. That's why I said being on the road with her. Yes, it seems like maybe it was his idea and he might have been excited about it with her, but it was absolutely a way to isolate her away from people, right? And to gain control of the situation. She also says she quit her job, right? So unless these two people just are sitting on a huge inheritance, she probably was to some degree financially dependent on this man as well. I don't know too much background info about the two of them, but that's what it's giving just with that information that we have there.
One officer takes photos of laundry scratches.
I'm not going to pursue anything. She's my fiance. I love her.
Then an officer asks Gabby this question.
When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him?
No.
What were you?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
Gabby sobs as the cop tells her that he's made a decision whether to charge her or not.
You're 22, right? So I'm choosing not to cite you today.
Laundry was not charged either, but at the cop's insistence,
now, I do think the choice not to charge her was smart. I don't know that it saved her life, but I think that the police officer, to some degree, probably smelled some BS in terms of whether or not this guy was actually a victim of hers, right? And also, she's obviously emotionally distraught in this moment. She's crying. She can, barely speak through her tears. So I think that this officer actually, even though he wasn't able to do anything to save her, that his instincts were good in not charging her, right? He could probably sense that something was off with their interaction. So trust me, I can't say that for every time I see the police interacting in these situations, but I can say it for this one.
He and Gabby...
Now, I will say he probably feels incredibly guilty too, right? To think that he was just in contact with this couple while they were, going through a physical situation, and then not too long after that, she disappears, and then, her remains are found. So let's continue.
Spent the night apart to cool down. Officers gave him a ride to a local hotel.
I just don't usually drive the van, so I just want to make sure it's not far.
It was obviously very upsetting to us to see her that emotional.
In Northport, Florida, where Brian Laundrie lives, Gabby's father joined the FBI and local police in updating the nation on the search for Gabby.
Whatever you can do to make sure my daughter comes home, I'm asking for that help. There's nothing else that matters to me now.
And on Long Island, a lawyer representing Gabby's family read a heartfelt letter being sent to Brian Laundrie's parents.
And our lives are falling apart. We believe you know the location of where Brian left Gabby. We beg you to tell us.
And as you can see in that family, it's believed that there was even different perspectives of what was going on in their relationship between the two families, right? Even the two families are conflicted. Maybe in Brian's family, right, they're used to, or they are more accepting of these heated arguments between couples. Versus Gabby's family, they could smell from the beginning that she was the one being manipulated and emotionally and eventually physically abused to the point of her early and untimely deletion at 22 years old. So let us continue here. I'm going to move to the next video. I did want to give that little point on reactive abuse because I think that that is not a subject that we touch on so much when we talk about DV, right? It's always a matter of who put their hands on who first, right? Who hit who first? That's what we tend to be focused on in these stories. It's a matter of who's the one who did it. That's what we want to figure out, who the perpetrator is, especially because I don't want to be confronted for this, right? Women fought for their equal rights as people because of how often this was going on in households. So I think reactive abuse is something that we need to speak about a little bit more so that we can start to understand the very, very complex dynamics of these types of relationships. So, all right, let's move on. Let me see what I got here. I wanted to share these statistics for you guys really quickly, a little bit more about the demographics, because like I mentioned, oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong, let's do this. As I mentioned, ethnic minorities are more likely than other groups to be victims of interpersonal, domestic, whatever you want to call it. And so the numbers start here. 46% of American Indian women are victims of interpersonal violence, domestic violence, domestic abuse. 43% of Black women. 37% of Latinas. And I'm going to say this. This is sort of what bothers me about statistics and race is a Latin person can be white or Black, right? So we're skewing the data even more because we're creating this category that includes Black and white people, right? So the numbers are the incidence can be even more in Black women, but because they're being identified as Latinas, then the numbers are being separated and shrunk. We have 36% for white women, which again, this is still huge numbers, but there is a variance for minority groups. And the last one we have there is Asian and Pacific at 20%. So while all women can experience interpersonal intimate partner violence, I see it different everywhere, women of color are more often likely to become victims than their peers. All right, so let us move. I'm going to move on to the next video. And I wanted to continue the conversation that we've been having about why women stay in these abusive relationships. All right, is it easy to leave? It is not easy to leave. These are very complex situations for a number of reasons. The main one being that it's usually the process of leaving is lengthy in itself, right? A lot of the times a person will get back. There'll be episodes where there's reconciliation. So not only do they get back together, but things appear to be getting better, right? There's been hope from the victim that things will get better. And so this moment of reconciliation where there's less arguing and maybe even a bunch of love bombing going on, right? That will make it harder to leave because it's not just linear. It's not just happy relationship, love bombing, physical abuse, woman leaves. No, there's a lot of times you'll go one step forward and then back 2 steps. Right? You'll leave the relationship and the partner will love bomb you back into the relationship, right? It's not a linear process is the point. The point is that it's often a very circular and repetitive cycle. And so people will go through episodes of being with the partner, maybe even being happy, maybe the things are going so well financially and the focus is on that. And so there's no focus on what's going on physically and aggressively. Maybe there's even a long extended, maybe there's even years where the partner becomes calm and they're not engaging in the same abusive pattern, right? And then things go right back to it again and the cycle will be repetitive at that point. And so that's the issue, is it's never just black and white. You just leave the relationship. A lot of the times the partner, after they get into this big argument, the partner will try to make up for it. And so since there's hope, since maybe they're married and maybe everything that they have is tied financially, this partner feels more invested in it. And so they will accept their excuses and take them back. And so it's just very complex of an issue. The other issue is that the danger increases, right? So when a person wants to leave a relationship, especially an abusive one, things get more dangerous for them, right? It doesn't imply the end of abuse, right? Just because they're leaving doesn't mean the partner is going to stop attacking or harassing or trying to defame or lie on their partner, right? It's not safe. It's not safer just because they decided to leave. The danger increases. Things get worse. All right? And things can actually even intensify to the point of being seriously injured or even deleted. Right? In this case of Gabby Petito, I disagree. Well, it sounds like you can disagree. That's your right to disagree, but we're speaking about what's going on factually. Can you guys still see my screen? Because it says that it's been blocked. Yeah, abuse by proxy, exactly. By proxy. And a lot of the times what will happen is, in that time frame that the partner will be trying to leave, the abuser will feel they'll feel neglected, right? They'll feel like, wow, like this person is trying to leave me. They'll try to guilt the person, and they'll get more angry with them, right? Maybe the person's leaving with their children, and they'll hide under that as a reasoning for their anger, right? She says, I want sole custody and a protective order. Yeah, a protective order doesn't necessarily keep you safe, but it's definitely a great thing to have on the record, right? Because a lot of times that person losing custody to their child, that can make them very, very angry, and it puts that person's life in danger. All right? They use children's services and police to continue attacking me, sabotaging jobs, cars. Yeah, exactly. You'll leave them, and they'll be doing the same things, but if not worse, right? They'll start to go after your reputation. Maybe they'll try to impact your way to make money, right? Maybe they'll start spreading rumors. Maybe they'll try to get involved in your social interactions. Maybe try to ruin your social reputation. It just becomes way more dangerous when a person does decide to leave. And sometimes that will stop a person from leaving, right? They'll think, if I leave this person, they're going to delete me. So if I stay here, maybe they'll be satisfied. That's the unfortunate thing in these circumstances. No address, you can't file a restraining order. Yeah, that's the other part. If you don't know where they live, right? If you left them and they went somewhere that you don't know, now you can't file a restraining order. Maybe some of them will even avert getting served the restraining order. And so it sort of just looks like you're just looking for a ghost, right? Because every address that you send the restraining order to, they've already left. Maybe they'll pretend not to be there. They won't answer the door. They won't accept it. And that can prolong the situation too. Lawyers help them. Yeah, absolutely. Because from the perspective of those people, right, it's their right, right? They can also try to prove their innocence. And so it gets even more tricky now, right? Because who's really telling the truth, right? Most people, I think, can sort of sniff out who the abuser is in these interactions. But sometimes it does become about who's telling the truth, right? He said, she said. So, all right. Let me play another video because I want us to start to visualize these situations. Now, this is another case of somebody who went through something like this. Her name is, sorry, I had it written down right here and I lost it. My bad. Bernice Pritchard, okay? And I'll say this too. These relationships move very fast. Okay, Bernice is a woman who had already adult children. You know, her children were grown when she got into the first relationship of hers that was abusive, right? She might have not even been too much aware of these types of relationships. Maybe she's never even seen this, and so she downplayed it per se, right? But the relationship progressed quickly. Within a year, they were married. All right, so let's hear about Bernice Pritchard.
My stomach. I haven't slept in days, barely ate, barely bathe. I homeschool my kids. I can't even teach them.
A lot of raw emotion tonight as 4 children are pushing through the pain, hoping to save lives. Court documents show that their mother is a victim of a murder-suicide in Kendale.
And support organizations for survivors of domestic violence say that unfortunately, this is the time of year when incidents like this will increase and in some cases become even more severe.
Yeah, and that was Kendale, by the way. Marvin Hurst with Bernice Pritchard's attempt to try to break free.
The Pritchard family took every pleasure in planning a themed evening at home to honor their mother, Bernice. According to the family, the 61-year-old was a vibrant healthcare worker who came from Liberia at 17 and lived in Houston for 25 years.
We thought maybe it was a health issue because the prior week or week and a half or so, she had low blood pressure.
She had to go to the hospital.
Her kids, Tanisha, Trisha, Leela, and Xavier, say their mom got engaged to Rick Perry last Christmas. Then she moved in with him to this senior living complex in Kennedale.
You know, I love you guys. I want to kind of take you all in as, you know, my stepkids, and we really honestly didn't see any warning signs in person.
Neighbors told the children there was an argument after Pritchard had worked a 12-hour shift on Thanksgiving.
There was no signs. There was no signs, at least around us.
For 2 days, her kids say they called and sent text messages to their mother. Pritchard didn't show up for work.
And she had her location on her phone, and my mom, you know, we have her work schedule as well, and she was scheduled to go to work, and she was like, hey, I noticed her location has been at home all day. And
Saturday, they called the police. Pritchard's children say they arrived to a crime scene on South New Hope Road, and police told them they'd found 2 bodies inside of a bedroom. The Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office determined 63-year-old Perry committed suicide. Pritchard had been shot multiple times.
Did she ever say anything to you all that indicated that she was in jeopardy at all?
She confided in me a few times. Like, I think she knew something was going to happen. She would talk about how she wanted her funeral to be
the best birthday ever.
Happy woman becomes a victim of a spiraling relationship. Not an uncommon story yet.
And it's sad because they talk about this happening last Christmas, right? So within the span of a year, she's gotten married and moved in with the partner. And I'm not telling people how to move about things. I myself have obviously made the mistake of moving very quickly in a relationship, but that's the point, right? They often move in and just make the progression of the relationship move so quickly because they don't have a lot of time, right? Eventually the mask is going to fall. Eventually their true character, their true nature is going to be revealed. And so before any of that can happen, what they'll do is try to move us quickly, get married, have kids, move in together, buy property together, invest in something, make a deep and hard investment to get out of together. They'll do it quickly in order to keep the victim locked in. Now, I'll say this. That is something that some of them will do, especially if it's a situation like that. They're often willing to talk about it, not willing to talk about, but they'll leave out like little things like this. There's been a lot of cases like this where the victim will start to talk about their end of life, like what they want. Maybe they'll talk about they feel like it's coming. You know, obviously she didn't confide in her daughter that she thought she was going to be deleted by her husband, but she definitely had deletion on her mind because she knew. You know what I mean? She knew that something was coming, and maybe she felt too strong to speak to her children about it. And I'm going to say this. All 4 of those kids, I don't know their life personally, but she obviously raised and took care of them well by herself. You know, by the time she met this man, she was a grown woman. And some people, they still want to find love older, right? But it could be a very dangerous thing because a lot of times those relationships that happen later in life, they move faster because people feel like they have less time, right? Maybe they've been waiting to get married their entire life and they feel like, wow, I finally found that. And believe it or not, in Black culture, Black women specifically, they worship marriage. And so maybe she just felt so good and validated to be married, right? I'm not blaming her for this at all, but I'm saying sometimes that validation that we seek in society can be detrimental, right? It can cause us to be groomed and abused, right? By somebody who has bad intentions for us and overlook it, you know, in the name of love, in the name of a relationship. So let's continue with this video. And then I'll do one more body cam footage, and then I do have to get out of here, guys, because, you know, it's almost Christmas time. I have so much to do. And I hope you guys are enjoying the holiday season. If you're going through something like this, I hope you know there are resources and things available for you. Yeah, it is sad, Robin, because Black women we do worship just having a man, right? Maybe for her, the marriage was the ultimate thing, and maybe that might even be why he married her and moved her into his house right away, right? Because he could see that she worshipped that. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree, Heidi. I agree. It just seems to be such a detrimental thing that no matter what, Black women just want to be married so badly, especially because there's such low marriage rates and people are always talking about how Black women aren't married. There's that extra layer of shame and need for validation that a lot of Black women feel. Unfortunately, and that contributes to people staying in more toxic, aggressive relationships just to have it. Yeah, especially if they lie, and the other thing is too, especially if they're able to have a public persona, right? That public persona sometimes can make a person feel it might be difficult for them to stand up to the person, right? Or maybe they don't believe anybody will see them as bad, right? That's why you'll see maybe even decorated officers and marshals in the military who end up being aggressive and abusive partners. So absolutely. Yeah, it is. It is a little different, and it seems to be more pervasive, Robin. So a lot has to be. Yeah, I don't know, but who's going to deprogram all these folks? But it definitely has to be. So let's finish up the video on Bernice, and we'll move on to. I think I'm going to do one more video, and this is just one where they were on vacation, and they were on vacation, and the husband just started being so belligerent. So let's finish up Bernice. I'm gonna do that one last body cam footage, and then I gotta get out of here. All right.
Genesis Women's Health Shelter, especially during the holiday stress, says the CEO.
The tricky part about it is, Marvin, though, is that we can't see it coming. These guys don't come on.
You're right. You're 100% right, Heidi. So I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna say all cultures. I'm gonna give you that. It happens in all cultures. Male worship happens across the board. And you can see that specifically in the most egregious religions that a lot of women still feel connected to. So, sometimes the Black talking points, they don't work, right? Because this is something that just applies across all cultures. Yeah, it's just something that happens in all cultures. Absolutely. Yeah, yep, and it sucks. It sucks because you watch somebody so beautiful, so giving, so loving, right, become crunched up and just sort of broken down by somebody who just is just evil, right? Somebody who just has no good intentions for them. So, yeah, it definitely is in all cultures. Absolutely. But what I was speaking to, I think, was that extra level of shame that's sort of attached to the community, right? Where the community has low marriage rates. And so a lot of times people will say that all the issues and the problems in the Black community are related to the fact that, there's a bunch of unwed mothers, right? And so there's a lot of guilt and shame that Black women feel. But I think across all cultures, all colors, all socioeconomic statuses, this happens. And across all economic statuses, that male worship happens as well. So you're 100% correct, Heidi. I'll give you that. Yeah. Whew, I'm telling you, girl. Yeah, absolutely, Robin. I think it's just a different aspect, But I'll say this. I think there's male worship across all groups. That is what I'll say. And a lot of it has to do with religion, with just patriarchy and things like that. So let's continue.
On as monsters, they come on as gentlemen.
Jan Langbein says leaving can be coordinated with a professional because the exit is dangerous.
Women who are leaving or in the process of leaving, or he suspects that she might leave, are in 7 times greater danger of being killed at that moment. That's why shelters have to operate in a secret location.
Pritchard's family says 8 months after coming to this apartment, she had planned to leave.
They said that they found the door barricaded and a suitcase with full of her clothes by the door.
Police have not returned our phone calls about this.
And that's just another example, right? As soon as they try to leave, it's the most dangerous. She packed the suitcase and she was getting ready to go. And it ultimately led to the end of her life and the end of his life as well. Yep, exactly. Definitely conditioned to be people pleasers. To the point where it's like, men will even weaponize. They'll be like, oh, I want a nice woman. I want a woman that treats me right. Because we're always supposed to put other people above our own needs, our own wants, and all of that. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, Free Palestine. I'm so sorry, hon. That is just horrible. But let's finish off this video. She was obviously trying to leave him, and he took her life.
Investigation. In the meantime, a family endures grief and tries to overcome a holiday nightmare.
I don't know how to process. I don't know how to process this. It's like I'm in a dream. She didn't deserve that. Anyone who's being abused, you have to leave. Even if it means leaving everything. Material things don't mean anything. And your life is more important. Just leave.
In Kennedale, Marvin Hurst, CBS News, Texas.
Just want to leave you with this.
So there is I'm going to put that in the chat. 1-800-799-SAFE. All right, just in case anyone is needing that. Also, leave and get a restraining order. Absolutely, that's exactly why it's important to keep a physical record of what happens to you as well, so that when you do seek out police, you have some evidence that you've already been dealing with a violent outburst in the relationship. So, all right, I'm going to play the last video. And again, this is a couple who's on vacation. So, like holidays and times that are supposed to be fun with your family, a lot of times these abusers will take times when you're on vacation, maybe something that's supposed to be like a highlight of your life, a honeymoon, maybe a vacation to visit family or something. And those situations also become very dangerous and, chaotic environments for these these types of relationships. All right, so we're going to watch this. And I'm going to say, pay attention to the perpetrator, I'll say, his attitude towards the police officer. The police officer that came and was dispatched to this case was a woman as well. All right.
Brookhaven police officers were called to the Doubletree Hotel to investigate a physical disturbance between a husband and wife in Atlanta, Georgia. They were on a family vacation and got into arguments that turned into physical altercation. The victim was able to leave the hotel and waited for the police to escort her to the room to pick up her personal belongings.
We are on a possible domestic at my location in room 302. He says it.
And I'll say this, the woman was trying to come to the room and get her stuff, right? So I believe until the officer saw the markings on her body, he wasn't even going to go to prison. He was probably going to just be told to leave her alone, for them to separate and be away from each other. Yeah, it can be so hard, absolutely. And it's complex, but let's continue.
Get my stuff. What?
226.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop. Come here. I hear you. Stop. What?
And I'm just going to say this, guys. I know this is a sensitive topic and things like that, but do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button, right? Let's get this message out further, deeper into the algorithm. We got plenty of people watching today, plenty of people in the chat. Just try to get me up to 100 likes. Boost me in that algorithm for me. I'll greatly appreciate it, all right? Let's finish up.
You go sleep. Stop. Okay. Stop. No. Stop.
Can you let her get her stuff so I can go back downstairs, please?
I want to go. Stop.
So you can see he's really not trying to let her like do what she's trying to do. She's obviously trying to collect some of her belongings. You know, he's gonna rant and rave about whose hotel room it is, which is another financial thing that they'll do. But he's basically trying to stop her from even getting anything out of the hotel room. You know, it's simple. She obviously don't want him to get in trouble. She just wants to leave, and he won't even allow that to happen. And part of it, I believe, is because there's a female officer. I believe that he was not intimidated. He was very dismissive of her as well. So let's continue.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
You can raise a complaint and have them put me outside quick trip.
Get your fucking ass out of the hallway. Come, I'm not touching you.
No, sir.
You don't have no
Sir.
jurisdiction.
Yes, I do. I'm here, sir.
No. Fuck her.
I'm here
No,
with her.
Dana,
What is wrong with you? I'm here with her.
I have no.
Yes, I do.
You can stay.
No, I'm stable.
Now I would have, if I know she was probably scared, because as you guys can see, it's just her with him. There's not an extra person. And she probably didn't want to just jump into action, but he should have been ejected from the room at the very least at that point. You know, he's in her face. He's telling her no. He's acting like she has no authority when she is the authority figure in the situation. Let me see. This was Brookhaven, Atlanta, Georgia. I believe that's maybe a city within, because I guess Atlanta is like a greater Atlanta area, but it was Brookhaven. It was a hotel, the DoubleTree. So let's continue.
I'm gonna stay right here.
You have no jurisdiction over here.
Sir.
You can wait.
Sir.
You can wait. Or you
I'ma
can take
stay-
me in. You can wait.
Sir.
Or you can take. I have no fucking.
Sir. Sir.
I have no. I have no. Back up or what?
Get out
This is my fucking room. This is my room. This is my room.
1736.
It's
Find
mine.
me another unit.
Robert, please. I don't, Dan, I really, it's my room. This is what you're doing. I have no, this is my room. I have no room. I have no room. She's not in danger. You're not in danger. This is my room.
Sir.
You can step the fuck right
No,
there.
I'm gonna stay right here.
You don't have any jurisdiction
Sir.
here.
Sir.
You have no jurisdiction.
I'm staying
You
right
have no
here.
jurisdiction. You have no jurisdiction.
When she get her
Why do you have
stuff,
jurisdiction?
when she get her stuff, then get out.
What you doing? This what you doing?
I want to leave.
You have no jurisdiction. Yes, I want to go. Yes. These people. They're police. Strange fucking odd-shaped bitches. She's making sure you don't hurt me. Really? Dad, you think I'm gonna hurt you? She just saw you grab me up. Look at my fucking chest. Are you crazy? Johnny, you think I'm gonna hurt you? You can get the fuck out.
You can back.
You can get the fuck out.
Hold on. Don't run up on me.
I'm not.
Do not run up
He
on
should
me.
have been. He should have been arrested right there. Because not only is he impeding like her getting this lady out of the house, but he's also stopping her from getting, you know what I'm saying, from making sure that this woman's safe. He's trying to impede on the safety of her by not allowing the cops to escort her out. And also he's trying to intimidate her out of leaving in the first place. Needs backup. They shouldn't ever let a female confront a man by herself. It's way too dangerous. Exactly. Even with the taser, even with the gun, she could be overpowered. You know, so I believe that is why she also waited a little bit in terms of just escalating and arresting him right away.
You get the fuck out.
Sir.
You sit the fuck
Sir.
out. Well, who are you?
Sir.
Dennis. I'm a fucking Marine Corps veteran.
That's fine.
I don't
fine.
have nothing to do with you.
That's
you have
fine.
nothing to do with me.
That's
you can
fine.
take your stupid ass out of here.
That's fine.
So basically, he's trying to imply, because he's Marine Corps, that, and I believe he's a disabled veteran, he's going to say as well, 80% disabled, whatever. He believes that because he's military, that he doesn't have to be dealt with by civilian police, which is not true, all right? But for some reason, he thought that he could invoke that, especially because it's another woman who came to help her and defend her versus like two male cops like we usually see in these videos. So
You have nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Like less than nothing.
Okay.
Damn.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Robert, look at me. Look what you did. Look what you did. No, I want to go.
Okay, I'm not gonna damn it.
I'm gonna put myself please and go.
You going? Okay, stop. Damn it, thank you.
I'm thinking.
For a second.
I'm thinking.
For a second.
Listen, you're gonna see.
And it's so sad that there's a child. I don't know if that's their child, but that sucks if it is their child that has to sit here and witness their parents going through something like this. And especially her mom being a victim. So.
No. Okay, I'm calling you from where I'm going.
Check on the 220. They didn't answer when I had to call back.
Please, let me go.
Okay,
Wait. Come on, I gotta go.
Okay, but then I'm not sure.
Nothing ever leaving.
Yes.
215, 225, 699.
Stop, no.
Come on, Robert, please get out of my way. The cops are gonna arrest you. Do you not know that?
You think I give a shit about?
Can you stop blocking my way?
You're doing this to me. You're doing this.
Let her by, please.
You're doing this.
Please let her by.
I don't give a fuck. You think I give a fuck about this bitch ass cops? You think
Definitely should have been arrested again, right? Like, he definitely should have been arrested. But yeah, he's also trying to intimidate her out of leaving with the police, doing it blatantly in front of the police. I also believe this is something that he was doing because it was a woman police officer. Because like I said, had two men pulled up there like, we're coming to help your wife get out of here, I don't believe he would have been knocking on walls and slamming things. I believe he would have been way more subservient because unfortunately those type of men, the only other person who can check them is another man. It just is what it is. They don't have respect for women as a whole. It's clear as day in this interaction that because it's a woman police officer, he feels like he can keep antagonizing her and trying to get her to stay.
you give a shit about this? Right. You think I give a shit about this?
746 Jack on. Can I have a unit step it up, please?
She's by herself. I'll say that she's by herself. I don't know that it would even be smart for her to get in between those two people. Oh, hold on, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Not my dad trying to call during the stream. Okay. They all sound the same man's child. Yeah, big babies. She isn't doing anything to him, but he will try to manipulate her. Yeah, he will basically turn it around and say, no, it's not me abusing you, right? It's the fact that you called the police. You're the one harming me because you're calling the police on me for doing what I'm doing to you. So I gotta hurry up and get off here so I can answer the phone. But yes, they're always humble when men confront them. Absolutely. He sounds crazy. He sounds crazy and unstable. It's insane. But let's continue with the video.
Check up, clear. So, what are you carrying on traffic? Copy that. Shanley, for me, we got units around as well.
Go, if that's what you want to do.
Check up, clear.
Don't touch me.
I'm sorry.
Do not touch me.
Okay.
Do not touch me.
Okay. All right. Good.
Shanley, for me, yes. I'm seeing where you at.
I believe she's in room 302.
I didn't mean it as offensive. I didn't mean it as directive. I didn't mean it as any kind of way. She can take whatever she wants. She can take whatever she wants, however she wants. No matter.
You got everything you need to double check.
She can take it whatever she wants.
Do y'all live together?
No.
Are y'all married?
Yes.
Y'all are married?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I think his fingers are wrapped up because they probably get into a bunch of arguments, right? They probably are always having situations like this, as you can tell, because she simply was just asking him to move. She said, let me go, let me go, let me go. She probably, unfortunately, is very passive in these interactions with him. And so they probably get violent a lot. You know, she probably is sick of it. And even though she's trying to leave, married, not living together. That should tell you something as well, right? That she probably don't feel safe with him. She probably feels like if she's alone with him, things are going to escalate to violence. I don't know if it's their child, but I heard a child in the background, and I think I heard one walking with them. So maybe they're just not showing it just to protect the safety. But I definitely heard one. And yeah, there's usually a reason for this, right? Maybe they're on their way to separation. Maybe she's getting ready to leave him. And again, that's why it's getting violent to this degree, because she's sick and tired of his nonsense. They don't even live together, which there's probably a reason for that.
I'm gonna wait till they get here and go back and talk to him. You got marks on your neck? Okay. Thank you. 1736, I'm coming downstairs. Yeah, you about to take care of it.
He's in had too much damn whiskey and he can't handle it.
Y'all drove down here?
Yeah. My daughter was a Decatur. I'm gonna go there. I'll leave his car there.
And notice, she's not, you know what I'm saying? She just wants to leave. She says she'll leave his car. She's just gone. She just want to go.
I'm gonna need to see your ID. Oh. Hey, anybody pull up looking for me? Where they went? Upstairs? Damn, I just saw. Let me get your ID. Stay down here for me. Yeah, I got her downstairs. I need to come back and get him. Yeah, he just grabbed her up while I'm sitting out there, and she got a mark on her chest, and they married. It was going good until I seen him walk in and grab him. Right. Appreciate you.
Oh, it's not wrong. It's just not true, actually.
Hey, you have your ID with you?
My ID?
I need your ID for my police report.
My name is Robert Petito. I give you my name and my name, my social security number, but I'm not giving my ID.
Okay, so go ahead and put your hands behind your back. For what? You've been arrested for battery.
No, I didn't.
Put your hands behind your back for me.
Okay. Well, I give you my ID.
Put your hands behind your back.
Stop. Stop.
I didn't do anything.
Stop.
Let me give you my name. Wait.
Where's that for?
I didn't battery
Stop,
anybody.
stop.
I didn't do anything.
Just don't move. Just
I
don't move.
didn't. Okay, but I didn't touch anybody. I didn't hit anybody. I didn't battery. I didn't threaten anybody. No, wait. Let me ask you a
Up against the
question.
wall, sir. Do not move.
Let me ask, could I ask the question?
Okay, hold on.
Could I ask the question?
Hold on.
Okay. When she's done, could I ask a question?
What's the question?
What is the actual battery? Battery is what?
She has marks on her.
I didn't
From when
You know
saw
I didn't touch her.
I saw you. Let's go.
No.
So not only did the officer witness some of the violence, which again, because it was a woman, he thought he could get away with it. Then as soon as the men come, now he's like, oh, what? I'm going to jail? Really? Serious? I didn't do nothing. Right? But when it was just a woman, he was swinging, he was pushing, he was saying, you're not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to jail. Ha, ha, ha. Now look at him. He was so tough when it was just that poor officer in there by herself. Now look at him. Now he's a crybaby. Now he don't know why he's going to jail. Now he's acting so different in front of the police officer. Wait. Let me tell you something. Exactly. Now he wants to have a rational discussion. Now he wants to be peaceful. But when she's trying to pack, he stopped her numerous times. That was enough for them. If it was the male police officers there at first, that would have been enough for them to arrest him as well. If they're trying to help her leave, then there should be no one stopping any of that. It's not his right. But obviously, it took the men showing up for him to be scared and angry, or not angry, but I should say more submissive to the authority figures in the room.
No, I didn't touch her.
Where's your ID at?
I don't have stop. Let me get out of my pocket. Don't touch my pockets. You don't have authorization in my pocket.
1736.
No,
I
I didn't touch her pockets. I didn't go. Stop! Get out of my pockets. Get out of my fucking pockets. Get out of my pockets. Stop. No, I'm saying don't go in my pockets. I didn't do anything.
Is that the body cam?
No, I didn't do anything. Get out of my fucking pockets. Get out of my fucking pockets. I don't do anything. I'm a fucking 80% disabled veteran. What the fuck are you doing?
Now he's a veteran.
Get out of my fucking pockets. I don't have no fucking. Stop. Look, stop. What are you doing? No. I'm an 80% disabled veteran. What the fuck are you doing? I didn't fucking do anything to anybody. I didn't touch her. I didn't hurt her. No. I'm an 80% disabled veteran. What are you doing? I have no fucking drugs, gums, nothing. Stop. No. What the fuck you want? I'm an 80% disabled veteran. What the fuck you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? No, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You know I didn't. Look. You know I didn't double step. Look, baby. You know I didn't. I'm not sure. Okay. You know I didn't double her with her. You know I didn't threaten her. You know I'm like, what am I?
I don't think any true honorable veteran would say that, but obviously he needs something to hide behind. So he's trying to throw the whole "I'm a veteran, I'm disabled," yada yada yada. Yeah, he sounds like he is about to cry. Somebody get Vatos Bulldog, get him out of here. I hit him, but if you guys could, I hit the message, but if you guys could just get him out of the chat, I'll appreciate that. I don't want no dust from any prior sectors in my chat. But yeah, he sounds like he's about to cry now. He's a disgrace. No honorable man would say, this is a honorable veteran. No, not one. So, and he's about to cry. So I'm going to leave that there, guys. Some more happens in terms of like them going to the station and getting her statement and all that and all that. So I'm going to leave that alone. If you guys want to check that video out, you can definitely check out, I believe this is Georgia. No, this is Crime Cam now. So I'm going to share the video in the chat because why not? These channels do their great work of putting together the getting the body cam videos and doing the FOIA requests that none of us want to do. So I'm going to share their link in the chat. Yeah, we protect women, not hurt them. Exactly. The military messes a lot of people up. Yeah, but it also doesn't mess people up, right? It also doesn't cause certain people to become abusers. So I think, we can have sympathy and empathy for people who go through who go to the military and may become traumatized and things like that, but that's not an excuse. So thank you so much, guys, for being here with me today. I do have to get on out of here. I gotta scooch my bottom out of here because I got some stuff to do. It's almost Christmas time, so you guys know, okay, that we got to be taking care of business. We got to be getting gifts and things like that. If you guys did want to support me in any way, feel free to hit the Cash App or anything like that. I would appreciate it. You could also send super chats and gifts after the live stream is over. But other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. You're welcome, guys. Honestly, all the people who put together these videos and document and upload, they're part of the work too, right? It's all coming back to the hands of the people. The people are the ones now putting out this media. So if you guys would like to support me on my channel, at the very least, hit the like button on your way out. If you'd like to support me via Cash App, it's in the chat. You can send a super chat. You can send a thanks after the video is done. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, Free Palestine PC. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the super chat, all of it, every single last one. So thank you so much for being here with me today. And I'll see you guys on the next one. He says, stand up for yourselves. You're worth the basic piece. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate your advocacy as well. All right. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for coming.